Don't you miss the days when cultists and Satanists and mad, crazy people in general were the bad guys in movies? It seems a lot lately a trend has been in thrillers and science fiction movies to have scientists be the bad guys. And it's kind of confusing to me why that is. And it was also confusing to marine biologist David Schiffman, who was talking about The Maze Runner recently on his Facebook, saying, this doesn't make any sense. Why would scientists build this crazy maze that changes overnight when they already clearly have an understanding of the human brain from this other evidence as shown in the movie? And also, why are they evil? It seems almost as if whenever something doesn't quite make sense in the plot, to just say, a scientist did it, when you should be saying, a wizard did it.
Wait, this guy's a marine biologist?
Yeah.
I've never seen an evil marine biologist portrayed in a movie in my life.
Well,
so he's just like...
Did you watch Free Willy?
Those are trainers and corporations.
Yeah. Well, I think he's speaking on behalf of, as his profession as a scientist and a researcher and someone whose goal it is to better mankind and to better, well, not just, well, animals as well.
I think he's just complaining.
Well, I think he has a
Nazis
point.
did the same thing. They're like, why are we always the bad guys? I'm kidding. Just got the worst death glare ever.
Wow.
So,
how it always is on the show?
Yeah. I think the root of the problem here, I think he's lumping, because he brings up the example of the Maze Runner, and I will admit that that is a pretty silly type of science to have. We're going to make a big, dangerous maze.
That's a book for little girls. Like, I mean, this is... There's going to be a bad guy in any movie that there's a bad guy. You know, there's a lot of horror movies where the majority of bad guys are architects.
I think more often than not we see scientists as ambitious but maybe careless, you know, delving into the unknown, which releases, you know, science is a catalyst in a movie. It, you know, the virus gets out of hand, or there's unintended side effects, or there's, you know, that's how we get in touch with the alien life that comes to invade.
And there's always the good scientist that comes to rescue or who's helping.
Not always.
No, there's...
I mean, sometimes it shows scientists having a lack of human connection anymore. Like, they've gotten to the point where they've lost their sense of humanity, and we need this hero who is, you know, a regular Joe or whatever to save the day.
Back into it.
Yeah.
I think it's silly, because there's, like I said, there's every movie where there's a bad guy, they have to have a bad guy job. And a scientist sounds a lot cooler than a bad, you know, accountant. An evil accountant, and it's not that threatening. An evil scientist, because they're so smart, they have authority, they have power, they have access,
like
they can do things more.
That's the science and magic thing. Like, you know, what you would call magic, we would call science. Like, not understanding something and just saying, ooh, science did it, you know? Because you'll remember, like, in the Thor mythology, the Doctor was helping Loki along with his Tesseract badness, and we also see that as Dr. Bolivar Trask in the recent X-Men movie, and we see that in a lot of movies. Like, whenever something kind of seems inexplicable.
It's not that being scientist. Bolivar Trask was upset at something, and that his anger and his rage and his hate led his science to an angry place.
Yeah, I think you're...
Loki is charming.
You will see no arguments from me right there.
And one of the, you know, the basic tenets of science is to delve into the unknown. And the unknown is scary. We don't know what we're going to find there, which is why, you know, science is often, you know, the reason for the antagonist or the scary thing or the invading alien army or what have you.
I think when it comes down to anytime somebody does something that's ambitious and is succeeding, they're always seen as the bad guy, and there's always hate and
like, we need to
thrown
maintain the status quo.
Yeah.
What has science wrought?
And it's like, why couldn't I think of that? So then let's elevate it to the bad guy.
There's this idea that science is incomprehensible. So it's like, well, we don't know what did it, science did it. And then we have this kind of, it almost sounds like an aversion to wanting to learn more and do this so-called incomprehensible, which is counterintuitive to how reality actually works.
Also, like, most doctors are jerks.
Is there a solution to this? Like, is there a counterpart to the evil scientist, or the scientist gone rogue to use his powers of knowledge for evil?
I mean, you often see, you know, the antagonist of a film or a story as someone who is playing God, who is overreaching the bounds of ethics or morality, and they do that through controversial science or techniques or methods or whatever. You know, so that's like the convention versus the unconventional.
It's just anyone with power. It's either there's evil businessmen or evil scientists.
Right.
I like evil scientists. I think it's cool. It's fun.
But it's not all bad. I mean, we have things in the media popular things in the media that are also pro-science. Like we have Cosmos becoming a big deal on a national level and international level. And we have Interstellar coming out and possibly some more thrillers that are very pro-science. So it's not all bad. Let's look at science for what it is and not as evil wizardry that was unrelatable and incomprehensible in any way. What do you think of the scientist being used as the bad guy trope in movies and television shows? Let us know what you think below in the comments, and please be sure to subscribe.